Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at all move updates for the upcoming season of the Go Battle League Season 15. Actually, this is a lie because I already took a look at the leafage as well as the new move liquidation in a separate video. Check that out if you haven't already. I'm going to link it at the end card as well, so those are going to not be in here, but I already checked them out on the channel yesterday, so check the video out. The stats were not available at that time yet, but now they kind of confirmed, so like the stats I used in the video are all correct, so this video is definitely something you kind of want to watch if you want to see what leafage as well as liquidation can do. Now today we're going to take a look at all the other move updates that happened for the upcoming season 15 of Pokemon Go PvP there, and we're going to see here first off Poison Fang going from 40 power to 45 power, going to especially help the Golbat as well as the Nidoqueen. As you're going to see here, Nidoqueen now, before and after, we're going to have this for all the Pokemon that have like it changed for the moves itself, like when they get like a buff or a nerf. And here you're going to see, for example, that afterwards we're going to be able to now destroy Trevenant, which also has something to do with, of course, Trevenant getting nerfed a little bit here. But also you're going to be able to destroy Umbreon, which is going to be nice, as the normal variant of the Nidoqueen. In general, it's going to give it a little bit more play now again, while not making it too broken, which I think is exactly what you kind of want to have. Like, this Pokemon has been in the meta for like ages, then kind of went out of it again, and now we're going to see it a little bit more often, but it's not going to overtake the meta again like it did before. So I feel like this change is a very good one. Same goes for the Ultra League variant of Nidoqueen. As you're going to see here as well, we're going to see some more matchups that you're going to be able to win right now. For example, Gastrodon you're going to be able to now win with a normal Nidoqueen as well as the Trevenant again because of the nerf as well. Plus Cresselia can even beat with a normal Nidoqueen because the standard Cresselia moveset doesn't run Future Sight. If they run Future Sight, you're definitely done for, but otherwise it looks pretty damn decent for this update, especially because like such a small update. I didn't expect it would change that much, but it does change quite a bit. Next up, we're going to see here a red dot on the Golbat Shadow variant. I don't know how this happened, but we're going to see here the Golbat with also Poison Fang, and you see the difference here, not that big as before. But now you're going to be able to beat the Vigoroth as a normal variant, which was always a very close matchup before, so that's very nice for you. As well as you're going to be able to beat Mandibuzz, which is going to be very nice for the normal variant. So the Shadow variant beats the Vigoroth and the normal, now the Mandibuzz. There are quite a few more matchups that you're going to be able to just do a little bit better, so those Pokemon are going to be definitely in the meta again, or like a little bit more common. Walrein, our favorite Pokemon, got a nerf before from 35 energy to 40 energy for Icicle Spear. Now Icicle Spear got a power buff from 60 to 65, and honestly it changed way more than I expected. Now for example here you see the Shadow variant will be able to destroy the Pelipper now as well as Trevenant, because Trevenant you're going to be able to outspeed now because Trevenant's Seed Bomb going to take a little bit longer. We're going to take a look at this later as well, but you see already the Shadow variant seems to be way better now as well, but as well as the normal variant going to do more damage now with this charge move, which is going to be very decent for a lot of matchups. So very good Pokemon to take a look at, especially also for the Ultra League, as you're going to see here. We're going to be able to now beat the Swampert as well as the Charizard before already, but the Swampert already with the non-Shadow variant now in the Ultra League because of the extra damage of Icicle Spear. So very cool update there as well. As you can take a look now at the next one, Rollout went from 4 power to 5 power. That's going to be interesting for those Pokemon that you see on the screen. Not all of them Pokemon going to be showcased now afterwards, going to be also for the future slides as well here, because not for everybody there are direct differences, but there's one that's kind of nice here, and that's going to be Registeel. Against Registeel, your damage output going to be go from 1 damage per rollout, which was basically the minimum, to 2 damage per rollout, which is going to allow you to flip the matchup against some Raid IV Registeel, which is going to be very nice, as well as just going to be very nice for the 2-shield scenario in some scenarios, and you can just win back the matchup a little bit easier there. You're still going to lose in the 0 shield as far as I know, but 1 shield and 2 shield can be very decent. 1 shield you definitely win. Otherwise you're going to be in general in a position where you can most likely farm down some more Pokemon like flying types a little bit easier, which was still an issue even though it was a super effective move. So for Alolan Golem here, we're going to see that Rollout going to allow it now to, for example, win against the Ninetales. So that's going to be nice because it's going to do a little bit more damage. But for this Pokemon, usually you're not really running Rollout because Volt Switch is still better. So Rollout at least does a little bit more damage. I feel like this is a very good change for it. It could have even been like 1 more damage than that. But especially the Dunsparce seems to be one of the Pokemons that we're going to see quite often now in the regional tournaments as well in Go Battle League. There's going to be another good buff here, which is going to be a Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb going to be actually a very cool move, especially for Quagsire. We see some other options here. Wishcast as well as the Toxic Croak, while definitely helps those Pokemon out and definitely going to allow them to win some games eventually, like a little bit better there. Same as for also the Stunfisk. There were not direct differences in matchups that they really won with that. If you see just the normal poke graphics, of course there are going to be some smaller matchups, of course, that you're going to win, but like for the top 20 meta Pokemon there was nothing that I can really show for them. But for Quagsire, it's going to be a different story, and there's something that you definitely kind of have to keep in mind here. Quagsire seems to have a little bit of disadvantage with Mud Bomb if you have the normal variant, but if you have a shadow variant of this Pokemon, you see already on the right side of the screen, this Pokemon going to benefit quite a bit from that one. Like shadow variant of the Quagsire seems to be really decent, while the normal variant takes the Earthquake a little bit better there. But yeah, like if you have the shadow variant of Quagsire, definitely try out the Mud Bomb there, which is going to really help it out. For the Ultra League, it's not really going to be the best Pokemon, it gets to like 2250, but as I got some beef after I didn't show the Ultra League variant of the Dugong, I kind of wanted to showcase the list for this Pokemon here as well. Not going to be the best one as well with the new charge move there, but still fun Pokemon to use. Let's take a look at the next one. We're going to see Grimer here. Grimer before and after as well, because it had already the Mud Bomb before. Unlike the Quagsire, that's why I didn't do before and after there. Grimer here is a really underrated Pokemon right now in the meta. I really want to build this one, especially the Shadow variant of this Pokemon, because you see already on the right side, the Shadow variant is able to beat Medicham, it's able to beat the Alolan Ninetales, so you're going to be able to sometimes beat, of course, also the Lantern, because you have the super effective Mud Bomb now, which is going to get buffed. It is even able to beat Bastion with the Grimer, which is kind of wild. So this Pokemon is, while it's kind of underrated, a very cool pick right now, which I definitely would recommend you to build even, because it seems to be like a hidden core breaker for the current meta, which nobody really uses, but I feel like it has some quite decent potential. Maybe going to try it out in a video as well eventually, but very cool Pokemon to take a look at. Next up, we're going to see a Seed Bomb. We don't know the energy of it yet, it's also not really in the code yet, so it's most likely 45 energy. Not really sure about this one. The power goes from 55 to 60, so in general it's a nerf for this move as well, because like, yeah, you rather want to have a cheap energy move here, but those are some Pokemon that really learn it. The Dartrix we already had in the video for Leafage, so check that one out. Again, link, or like in general, like tab for that going to be at the end card for this video. Celebi also has the move, but of course not really a Pokemon that you see in the meta. But mainly you of course want to see what Trevenant can do here now. Trevenant going to be definitely impacted by this one losing, and Sableye in general getting outsped by Walrein for the upcoming meta, so meta going to change a little bit as well anyway. For Walrein it's going to be very, like against Walrein it's going to be very difficult. It's still going to be a viable Pokemon, it's not going to be completely lose its entire value, for sure not. But it's definitely going to get impacted by it. It definitely loses some potential with it. It's definitely going to be a little bit slower, which I feel like is maybe even a little bit better. But yeah, definitely keep this in mind. This Pokemon definitely gets a nerf, but it's not going to be crazy. Like, it's not going to be crazy at all. Here, for example, we see actually a nerf against Jellicent as well, which you're going to now win against you because you cannot really do enough damage with the Seed Bomb, I guess. But in general, still a Pokemon that can deal with it, because the main damage output is usually Shadow Ball. So I guess it's a fine nerf in my opinion. It's totally okay. Someone definitely had some pretty decent ideas this time around with all the nerfs and changes. Same goes for Whimsicott here. We're going to see the Seed Bomb now. While it got nerfed, it's definitely still a better move to go for than for Grass Knot, because Grass Knot just takes too long to get to you. For the Seed Bomb now, because you have a 9 energy generating fast move there, you only need 5 Fairy Winds now to get to a Seed Bomb, which is going to be the cheapest move to go for Whimsicott. So it's definitely going to help this Pokemon out quite a bit and going to make this a little bit more viable now as well. So definitely a good move. I wouldn't really use Charm on Whimsicott, by the way, if people wonder why I didn't put this on there. There are better Charm users available, like Alolan Ninetales, for example, so Whimsicott definitely benefits more from Fairy Wind than from Charm. Next up, we're going to have one of the best updates so far. We're going to get Drill Run on a Sandslash. While it doesn't show too much here on the graph as well, you see here, for example, the all of them have actually Drill Run, never mind, it mostly shows it better, but like I put all of them with Drill Run in there. Both the Shadow variant as well as the Powder, like also Shadow Claw and also the Powder Star variant, Shadow Claw is definitely the preferred moveset here, as you can see, as the second one from the right side. You're going to be able to beat Lantern with that, which is going to be the main important thing for this. This is going to be a core breaker for the meta right now. Like, it's going to be, especially up energy, a very strong Pokemon, as you're going to be also having a lot of play against something like Registeel or Galarian Stunfisk. So if you have a Shadow variant, try to go for the Shadow Claw variant as well of it, and then run Ice Punch to the run, and you're going to have a great time. Way better than Bodos, which it had before. So it's an insanely good upgrade for this Pokemon, and I'm excited to try this Pokemon out. Definitely going to be a video as well eventually. Same goes here for the Ultra League variant of it as well. You need to fully XL it, but you see already how good the Shadow Claw variant of it is. Now being able to beat Tapu Fini, now being able to beat the Jellicent. You have so many more better matchups with this Pokemon now. It is insane. Definitely try to go for that one. Like, Drill Run going to help this Pokemon out a ton. Like, it's definitely going to help this out so much, to definitely try to get one for the Ultra League, especially the Shadow variant. Still have to build my own one as well for this one, because I don't have that one, but yeah, still going to be fine. You're going to be able to compare now Fairy and Clefable against the normal variant here. Fairy and Clefable going to be very decent for especially also the Great and Ultra League. But yeah, going to be a very cool Pokemon. Going to be now very fast towards the Media Mesh, which is a very strong charge move, which you're going to be able to destroy a lot of Pokemon in the meta. Plus Moonblast, you're going to have very nice nuke moves with this Pokemon. It's quite bulky, so definitely a cool addition to it. As we see now the Ultra League variant of it as well. Going to be even better, as you now be able to get to the Media Mesh very fast, so you're going to be able to destroy Auroras. Auroras has no chance against you now. Against Gliscor, you're going to be a little bit better, and even against Walrein, you're going to get to the charge moves better and going to be able to win this matchup now. Next up, we're going to have the Wigglytuff. Disarming Voice is not really helping this Pokemon out quite a bit there, like it doesn't really do anything for it. It's definitely still the recommended one in my opinion, because charm damage is definitely the main damage source anyway, so Disarming Voice does a little bit less damage than Play Rough, for example, but it does need less energy, so it's the fastest move to get to with Wigglytuff, so it's going to help this Pokemon out, but it's not going to change this Pokemon out quite a bit, because you just don't have a good fast move for it that you can like spam the moves or whatever. So if you have a charm user that gets a new charge move, it usually doesn't really change too much. But you know what really changes something? The Togetic getting Fairy Wind. And this is it's honestly, I think it is my favorite upgrade for this Pokemon, or like in general for this season so far. Yes, everybody likes your own what's called the Drill Run variants there with the Dugong as well as the Alolan Sandslash, but Togetic here with Fairy Wind. It just looks so good. Honestly, Fairy Wind, Ancient Power, Dazzling Gleam, destroys Gravity, destroys Medicham, you can even beat Noctowl in the 2-shield scenario. I think you beat nearly all the flyers in the 2-shield scenario as well. You're going to have a lot of fun with this Pokemon, beating all the Dark-type Pokemon. I actually expect to see this Pokemon in some regional teams as well. It is a very bulky Fairy-type Pokemon now as well, so like it's the bulkiest Fairy Wind user I think right now, so it's going to be really strong to use. Very good upgrade. I really like this Pokemon. Can't wait to try it out. Already have one build as well from prior, so I don't even need to invest any starters into this. I will invest some starters into Tyranitar, into a normal variant actually. Not because of this Pokemon having now Brutal Swing and going to be so much better with it. It's going to be a little bit better as a Shadow variant, as you can see here. It is going to be a little bit preferred over Crunch, but the thing is, for me, Tyranitar gets a Mega Evolution, and that's something I kind of want to try out, so I'm most likely going to put one to level 50 soon, and use the normal variant for that one. But Shadow variant definitely helps out a little bit with this. Crunch, the Bite definitely doesn't really do too much, because Bite doesn't really generate energy too fast. Again, here you don't really generate energy too fast, so Brutal Swing update doesn't really help it too much. But it's an upgrade, I think, for raids, so like if you do raids, that's definitely something you can go for. Bite might be the better one for raids though. But yeah, definitely not really a PvP update. We're going to see the Cradily now. This is going to be a PvP update. You see here first Stone Edge, and the second, the last two rows, they're going to be the Rock Slide. Rock Slide going to give it some beneficial matchups against something like a Noctowl. Here, as you see now, Noctowl you're going to be able to beat. You're going to have just more consistent matchups in general. So definitely recommend you to run Rock Slide on this over Stone Edge. Just going to be faster there. Like you only need 4 fast moves instead of I think like 5 or something for Stone Edge. So definitely a good upgrade. Not going to be crazy strong or whatever now, but it's definitely going to be a very decent one. For Ultra League, you're going to see as well, same play there basically. The upgrade isn't too crazy, actually against Pidgeot you now lose, but it's still going to be beneficial to get to a move a little bit faster. So like at this point of time, Rock Slide definitely helps out quite a bit, but it's not going to be too crazy. Next one we're going to have here the Drifblim, added Mystical Fire. Mystical Fire going to be the preferred one here for sure. As you can see here now, the normal Drifblim actually can beat Registeel and the Galarian Stunfisk now, beating as well Medicham and basically the entire top meta there, which is kind of wild. Like the top Pokemon there, all of them getting beaten down by a Drifblim for whatever reason, but the normal variant because you need kind of the bulk of it. Shadow Ball is definitely something that you still need though. You can run Icy Wind and Mystical Fire, put it in for a little bit of fun, but like it didn't look too good, so I put it out again. But Mystical Fire definitely is a good upgrade over Icy Wind. Just Fire type coverage is a very good first Pokemon, so I actually could see this one in regionals as well. Very strong Pokemon to have. Next up, of course, the Ultra League variant of this Pokemon, which also going to benefit a little bit for that one. As you can see, you know, Galarian Stunfisk is something that you can beat, which is very nice, as well as for the Shadow variant you can beat the Registeel. Next Pokemon we're going to have the Zapkin added to Probopass. This will be a little bit better than Thunderbolt, as you can see here especially. We're going to have an event for Probopass as well soon, so for like people that want to start into PvP, this might be a Pokemon to pick up, because it is very decent actually. People just don't run it because it's a little bit weaker than Bastion, and Bastion is available for a lot of people as well, but it's definitely still a good Pokemon. You're now picking up matchups against Jellicent and the Umbreon, so it's going to help you out quite a bit. Normal variant definitely better than the Shadow variant though, so go for the normal variant if you can. The same goes for Ultra League though. Ultra League you're going to have here also a few upgrades, I guess. Nah, it's actually kind of the same. You can now beat Cresselia if you have the Shadow variant in the Ultra League, but it's not really going to be too crazy, but still a very good Pokemon to pick up for the Great League. Heatran going to get now Earth Power. And I don't think this is the only upgrade Heatran going to get, because we're going to have Heatran and Raids again at the end of the month. We don't have any announcement for it yet, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get the signature move for it, because otherwise this move update doesn't really make too much sense. It doesn't really help this Pokemon out at all. But if you're gonna get like something like a better fast move, like a better fire spin basically with its signature move, then it would help out this Pokemon quite a bit, so hopefully we're going to see this. If it's going to be another charge move, it might be also pretty decent if it's like a cheaper one, so Earth Power could be then something to break apart Dialga. But otherwise, of course, Earth Power doesn't really help you too much, because yeah, Steel types you already burned down with Flamethrower, so it doesn't really help you there. Rock types are rarely available in the Master League, so it's not the best upgrade, but still a fun one, and most likely going to be better if it gets a signature move. Otherwise, we're going to have Emolga here, and this is going to be a very good upgrade. As you see already, Emolga doesn't really have the best bulk, but Emolga now has Thundershock, Discharge, Acrobatics, which is going to do so much damage against a lot of Pokemon. It's going to be a very cool core breaker to use. It's going to destroy the Medicham, it's going to destroy the Trevenant, it's going to destroy Noctowl. Noctowl Medicham core is not safe anymore with Emolga, and it's going to be able to also take an Ice Punch pretty easily. And look at this boy flying around here, it just looks very nice. So a very good upgrade here as well. Litwick, I don't really want to talk too much about it. Might be just an interesting counter now for the Why Not plus what's called the Bronzer meta. That's most likely why they put this in. But otherwise, not really the most interesting thing to talk about. Why, I don't know why they really buffed this one here, but now we can learn Mystical Fire. Very nice. But yeah, Primarina getting Disarming Voice. We have it here for Ultra League and Master League afterwards as well. Here you're going to see that you can now win against Walrein, which is going to be nice. It's definitely going to be better than Moonblast for it. I didn't put it for Great League because nothing changed for that one. But Primarina still needs either a better fast move or its signature move for like the Hydro Cannon. Like Hydro Cannon would help this Pokemon out quite a bit. Disarming Voice is a nice step into the right direction for a Charm user, but again, not going to change too much. Also not really for the Master League, as you can see here. Nothing too crazy. But now we're going to get to the end of the video, as we're going to have the Ursaluna getting Ice Punch. Here we're going to compare it to Thunder Punch, and we're going to see like first is Thunder Punch, then Ice Punch, then Thunder Punch, then Ice Punch. And we're going to see that Ice Punch going to pick up now, I guess, the matchup against the Galarian Stunfisk as a bait. And yeah, otherwise for the Ultra League, not too good. But for the Master League, it's going to be interesting, as Ice Punch going to be able to beat here stuff that, for example, like a Dragonite or whatever. LilyNiRiain as well, you see here LilyNiRiain and Dragonite going to definitely not have the best time against this Pokemon now. But yeah, this is going to be it for this video. update for Ursaluna, not too crazy in my opinion, but this is going to be it for that one. There are a lot of good Pokemon available now that are going to change up the meta. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, check out the video for the Leafage as well as for Liquidation if you haven't checked that one out yet. It should be on the screen right now, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.